If you're really, truly looking to change your life, and if you want to do it powerfully and once and for all, the number one thing that you have to do is learn to love yourself. There's no getting around it. And I tried every which way I could, but the only way to do it is to learn to love yourself. Because until you do that, you're not going to be able to heal. You're not going to be able to create the things that you want in your life, because always and constantly, you're going to keep pulling yourself back to that place where you're not happy with yourself, where you don't love yourself, you hate things about you. And as long as those are in there, as long as those beliefs and things and fears are in there, you're not going to be able to make any kind of change. And I did this. I lived this way. And it took me all this time until a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, when I finally realized I got to put on my big boy pants and actually learn to do this for myself. Because every time I tried to make a change in my life, every time I tried to heal some aspect, whether it's fear or not feeling worthy of something, whatever it happened to be, I would always fall back in. I would make some progress, and always it would fall back. And where do you fall back to? You fall back to that place that you're used to, which is that I don't love myself. I hate myself. I don't like this. I'm too wide. I'm too skinny. I'm too striped. I'm too plaid. I'm too polka dotted, whatever it happens to be. So if you go with that first, I guarantee you doing the rest of it is going to fall into place easy. And it has for me in this past year. Because once I made that commitment to myself, that's when things started to change. My life started to change. But the biggest thing you've got to do is to, first of all, make the choice. And that's why I challenge you with all my heart and support to make that choice for yourself also. Because when you make the choice to love yourself, to figure out how to do it, to actually make it happen, two things happen. First of all, what ends up happening is when you make that choice, suddenly you start to see all the places where you don't love yourself in your life. You start to catch yourself when you start treating yourself really poorly, or really kind of, going after yourself, talking yourself down, saying you don't deserve this, all of these other things. And you have to be able to consciously see each one of those times when you do it, because in that moment, at that point, you can make the change. You can change over to loving yourself. That's a whole nother aspect of actually doing that, and we'll get into that at some point in the future here. But that choice is the first thing, the first most powerful thing that you can do, because you'll see every time that you're not doing it. And you remember to yourself, nope, I chose to do that. And the second thing that this is going to do when you make the choice, actually choose to do this, is it's going to carry you through the bad times. And believe me, there's going to be some bad times, because you're going to relapse, you're going to fall back into those old patterns and everything. And at that point, instead of allowing those beliefs and attitudes and habits to pull you back down to where you used to be, maybe where you've always been, you sit there and you remember that choice that you made, and you go, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And you start catching yourself maybe before you hit bottom. Maybe when you first notice yourself doing it, you go, nope, I'm not going to do this. Because I've made a commitment to myself. I've chosen, I am no longer going back to the old crap that I used to do. You make the choice to love yourself. And you're going to learn how to do it, and you're going to actively make it happen every single day of your life. Now, I did this, I think early last year is when it was. And I went at it, the method I chose was with meditation. And as I said in my last video, I used meditation like self-hypnosis, where I'm actually choosing the thoughts that I want. Because let's face it, those thoughts inside of our heads that are thinking less of ourselves are embedded in there. They're kind of like a habit that we've grown into. And there's a lot of research in the brains and everything that is just hardwired in. So you have to break that. You have to break those connections and focus it in on something else. And that's what I did. And I did it for a good 30 days or more. And it worked. I mean, I'm not completely cured. I still have crap thoughts. And I just, yesterday, had a bunch of them, a cluster of them that I saw inside myself that I had to address. But when you make the choice to do this, to love yourself, you're going to be able to step onto that path to actually make it happen, to actually recognize when those things are happening, when you're doing those things to yourself, and kind of realize, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then also to be able to get through the difficult times when it's going to be easy to fall back into that. You have to make the choice first. When you make the choice, then you can begin the process of doing it. And let me tell you why this is so important. Because I'm sitting here, I'm challenging you to change your life because we want to get better. We want to feel our strength and we want to feel the love in ourselves. We want to create the world that we want. And I started this out. My whole life, I've wanted to change and I've wanted to be everything that I could be and be the powerful person that I am. And at first, what I tried to do is to actually create my life, right? You know, make choices and make things happen. But always I would find myself failing back to the way I always was. Then I says, okay, I got to heal this. And so I would go after my specific fears or the specific feelings of, you know, I don't feel like I'm worthy or whatever it is. But in the end, it would always end up happening where I would fall back. It was like, and I didn't know why. I wanted to harder than hell to get rid of all of this stuff, but I kept dropping back and I didn't know why. Until finally, like I said, at the beginning of last year, I says, okay, it's time. I need to go at what I found out was the real core of everything, which is learning to love yourself. It's the biggest choice that you can make. Because once you get that, once you begin that process and start to love yourself more, I have been able to, now I knock down all of those places where I wanted to heal, where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't trust myself. I didn't think I was worthy or deserved to have the things that I want. And slowly, one by one, I focus my thing onto those specific areas and knocking those down. Not completely, because I'm still screwed up a little bit. I still have my time slipping back. But the thing is, I can see the progress. And I can see my life changing before my eyes. I can feel it inside of me. And all because I finally made that choice to love myself, to figure out how to do that no matter what. And I challenge you to do the same. And you can do it. I know you can. It's just a matter of making that choice and then doing it every day. Come up with a practice that will work for you to make that happen. But first of all, make that choice. Because in that, you can end up recognizing when you don't do it, and you can get through it. And you can sit there, and when you really don't want to do it, you finally say, screw you to those old thoughts. I'm breaking through this, and I'm going to make it happen. And in the end, you end up learning to love yourself. And that is when your life begins to change a lot. So, try it. Make a commitment this week. Just make that choice that for the next maybe 30 days, you're going to focus on that, learning how to love myself. Treat it as a mystery. Trying to figure out how to make this happen. I've got some ideas for you. We'll get into those in some other episodes coming up. But make that commitment to yourself. Choose to love yourself. And in the end, you will end up learning how to heal, and you will learn and be able to create the life that you want. I guarantee it. But first, you got to love yourself. Do that this week. Love you.